My name is Anne-Marie D'Angelo. I am the Director of Canine Training at the Penn Vet Working Dog Center.
Dr. Cindy Otto. I am the Executive Director of the Penn Vet Working Dog Center and an Associate Professor at the University of Pennsylvania. The Penn Vet Working Dog Center is a really unique facility because what we do here is we raise and train dogs for detection work, all kinds of detection work, but our main focus is to understand how the dogs are doing the work that they're doing and how we can help them do that better, whether that's through genetics, through physical fitness, through approaches to training.
This program is all about research and education and training. We bring a lot of talented people together to better the lives of working dogs, to figure out, how to train them the best way, how to keep them healthy, and how to educate people on the outside so that we can pass this information along. I oversee the training of the program, and I make sure that the trainers that we have here, pretty talented people, have what they need to get it done. I make sure that things are documented for our research. I'm in close contact with the fosters and the breeders. We have 3 parts to our program. We have the medical detection canines, we have search and rescue canines, and we also have the law enforcement canines.
We were approached by a physician, she's actually an ophthalmologist, who is very involved and dedicated to ovarian cancer research. And she had been reading the papers that had come out on the impact of the dogs being able to detect cancer. And she coordinated a very unusual team. We work with the scientist Dr. Preddy at the Monell Chemical Senses Institute, where he does the chemical evaluation of what the dogs are smelling, so the GC mass spec. We also work with Dr. Charlie Johnson, who is a physicist, and he works with the nanosensing. So we have a nanosensing e-nose equivalent that we're working with, but coordinating all of the components so that we can really use what the dogs teach us to help build what we can then do in sort of a mass basis so that every woman can be screened for ovarian cancer. Ovarian cancer is a silent killer. And so if women would get a screening, just like they get a pap smear every year, then we could actually determine before there's any signs that yes, this is a person. And the great thing about that, if we can determine it early, surgical cure is very, very likely. Whereas if we determine it late, their survival, we're looking at 5 years maybe, and it's really rough. It's a really, really bad cancer.
We started off imprinting the dogs on malignant tissue, and all that means is letting that dog associate the smell of that with a toy or with food, whatever the dog is driven by. If it's a dog that likes to play, we'll use a toy. If it's a dog that prefers food, you can reward with either.
So there's a number of reasons that dogs are so incredibly powerful in their ability to detect odors. Genetically, they have more genes for the receptors that capture odors and tell us what odors are. They also have more of those receptors in their nose, so they're more densely populated, and then obviously their noses are a whole lot longer than ours for the most part. And so they have so much more there. They also, in their brain, the part that processes all of this information, it's called the olfactory bulb. That's larger in dogs than it is in people, for sure. There are other species, though, that actually are more sensitive in their odor detection. But the really great thing about dogs is that they put it all together and they tell us. They work with us, and they really do want to sort of collaborate with us in these kind of projects. For our cancer detection, we've really evolved. We started with trying to use different tools to set up the odor. One was along a wall. We've kind of looked at a lot of the other processes that people have used, and there are a lot of nuances because we want to make sure that the odor isn't sort of sticking to places where it shouldn't, that the air currents, that the people influencing. So we've really evolved. We now use a stainless steel wheel, and that wheel allows us to clean it very thoroughly between the dogs so that no dog leaves any sort of hints to the next dog about where things might be, and help clean off any residual odor.
So we have a wheel with 12 slots on it, and each slot has an arm. The arms are covered. The substances will be put in there. There'll be benign tissue, malignant tissue, and normal tissue. And the dog will be cut loose off lead behind us, the handler's behind the screen.
Then the dog will walk around the wheel and it'll sit when it alerts or stare at the one arm of the wheel that is containing the cancer sample as opposed to the samples from normal patients or patients with benign ovarian disease. And then after the dog does that, they're rewarded when they sit, and then we'll spin the wheel and have them go again. And we usually do that about 10 times and sort of make sure, without changing the samples, then that gives us our sensitivity and how well the dogs are working.
We found that 10 repetitions is a good number to go by. Sometimes we'll go a little over, especially if there's a little problem and you don't want to end on a bad note. So we may push it 1 or 2 more reps, but 10 seems to be a good number.
All of the dogs in our program come from scent lines, hunting lines generally. So any dog that's been admitted to our program, and the dogs are donated to us as puppies, and we raise them from the time they're 8 weeks old, really training them on the foundations of odor detection.
We look for working line breeds. So we have, we've had everything from Springer Spaniels, Dutch Shepherds, German Shepherds, Labrador Retrievers. We take all breeds. We have a Nova Scotia Ductoling Retriever. So it's that dog that wants to work. The dog that has that drive, that he wants to play, he wants to have a good time, very confident.
And the dogs that ended up in our cancer detection program have ended up there because they tend to work best in a very focused environment.
Dogs are amazing. I mean, their sense of smell is incredible. I'm always surprised by pleasantly surprised at what they can detect.
They continue to show us more things that they can do, and I think it's limitless. And I'm so excited that we're here at a detection research center that we can really, explore what they can do and determine how they can help us and really show, okay, the dogs actually are better than anything else we've got.
I hope that the dog's ability to smell and identify cancer will be able to play a large part in early detection for people with much different types of cancer. I mean, right now we're specifically focusing on ovarian cancer. If we're successful here, can we then move on to, any other type of cancer? How wonderful would it be to come up with an early detection for people? Everyone knows the earlier you catch it, the better your chances. So I hope to save some lives.